Don, it's your first winter meetings as a manager. How has that changed? What's the excitement level for you going through this in the manager's year?
Yeah, really exciting. First year as a manager, being here at the winter meetings, and a lot of great conversations going on. You see how busy it is and everything, but just really excited about getting down here and getting our group fully together, and looking forward to 2026.
So far this offseason, you guys have been connected to some higher profile free agents. As a manager, is that exciting? What have the discussions been on your end whenever it comes to
Yeah, really exciting. We all know how much 2026 means, and a lot of discussions going on about building towards that, and started right after the season was over this year. Obviously 2025 didn't go as we had hoped, and really looking forward to 26 and just covering every avenue that we possibly can to try to improve the team for next year.
What do you feel this team needs to be where it is in 26?
Offensively, we need to get better. We've talked about that a lot. We need to get better on the offensive side. We need to continue to be really good on the pitching front. That's the foundation of our team, and continue to be really good there, and find a way to score some more runs to win more baseball games.
Are you confident that there will be execution in terms of being able to bring in some external additions to improve the offense?
Yeah, really love the conversations that have been going on, and can't speak specifically to any individual thing per se, but just a lot of great conversation, a lot of great things that are happening, and really with the ultimate goal of winning in Pittsburgh in 26.
You talked about, the external additions potentially to the offense, but internally, have you guys evaluated how you feel you can get better?
Yeah, we're always beating that up. And that's a daily basis thing. That's throughout the season, having different monthly goals as part of the process, and then continuing after the season was over, reviewing 25, and it's something that we do have to get better at offensively, continuing to have our guys get better, as well as look to improve the club in any way possible.
Don, do you want the offense to have a specific identity, and if so, what might that be?
Yeah, I think that what we talked about last year was, when we were really good, I thought we handled at bats really well. We continued to pass the baton. I know it was something that when we had those stretches of being good offensively, it was we passed the baton, we got guys on base, and then that 2-out, that big hit is the thing that eluded us a lot at times, and finding a way to get guys in their comfort zone in those big moments to come up with a big hit. Easier said than done, but continuing to push towards that for next year.
So do you see that as a comfort thing that needs to be changed, or do you see that as just get someone who gets big hits, to get some sort of big hitter?
Both. I think that can come internally and externally. We've got guys that have stepped up in those moments, last year and in the past. And could it be somebody externally that comes in to do that? Of course it could. I think the one thing that, as I've thought about last year and going forward, is continuing to be aggressive, finding ways to push the envelope in ways, playing baseball the right way, running the bases aggressively to ensure that we're doing everything we can to maximize our chance to win.
From bench coach to manager, how different is your involvement in this type of part of the season as the team building is happening at the front office level? Were you very involved as bench coach, or were you very involved now, and what ways do you sort of try to lend your eye to the process?
Yeah, more. I think as a bench coach, involved on the fringes. As a manager, definitely involved in the conversations. This is honestly it's my first winter meetings that I've been to, so excited to be down here. Excited to be, part of the conversation, and really, as we look towards building in 26, the things that we've talked about adding offensively is the biggest thing, and directly involved in those conversations as well.
When it comes to free agency, you're selling a player on dollars and cents, but also the opportunity. If you were just speaking with a free agent right now, what type of thing would you be telling him about the opportunity?
Yeah, when you look at the team and the way that we're built with our pitching staff, there's some teams around the league that have good pitching staffs. Not discounting that at all. Totally believe that ours is at the top, towards the top of the league. When you look at Paul, Bubba Chandler, Mitch Keller, Ashcraft, Jones, Burrows, it's unbelievable the way that we have the starting pitching depth and the talent to be really good, and I think that it's something that gives us a chance to win in 26 with the right additions.
Don, along those lines, you guys felt comfortable trading Oviedo. What can you say about the version of the pitcher that came back to you last year, and how he profiles at this stage of his career?
Yeah, I mean, Oviedo, I mean, what he went through last year, going Tommy John, and then the lat in spring training, and the way that he was able to come back and the competitor that he is, it stinks losing a guy like that. You know, when you look at a guy that's going to be in the rotation, from our standpoint, in order to get Garcia, it was something we had to give up something to get something, and really excited about bringing Garcia back and the impact that he could potentially have in 26. And you know, the upside that he has is tremendous, and really excited to add him back. Obviously stinks to lose Oviedo, but excited about adding Garcia.
With Oviedo, the fastball movement profile changed, right? Like it looked like there was more carry on the fastball move. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, it was. You know, I think that I don't know all the stuff, but the extension and the way that the fastball played was a little bit different. Probably I know our guys worked hard on it with him to continue to adjust some things, and he did a great job of being able to make the adjustments.
You mentioned Garcia. What do you kind of like about just the possibility of him adding some power to the lineup in 26 and just the impact that he could potentially make?
Yeah, some big-time power that he brings, and just the ability to be able to play all three outfield positions. Looks like he's a above-average outfielder. And just the way I saw that double that he hit in his first at-bat down there in winter ball, and the way that he hustled and ran into second, you know, all the reports that we've gotten back and the video that we've gotten to watch, really excited to add a young prospect of his caliber to the team.
You think he can handle center if needed?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think he can definitely go to center field.
Donnie, you've got a guy in O'Neill Cruz that probably didn't have the year last year he might want. His ceiling, talked about how sky high it is. How did the Pirates get him from what he was last year to that ceiling? Yeah,
he's O'Neill's working hard this offseason and continuing to work with him on the approach, on the way that he's approaching every single at bat. I think we saw the way that he got better in the outfield last year as the season went on, and his first full season playing center field. You know, worked really hard at that, and he's doing the same thing offensively now. Major Leagues is tough, and as you start to go through those changes and teams adjust to you, being able to make the adjustment back, and we're seeing O'Neill go through that right now. He's having a great offseason, and looking forward to him having a really good year next year.
Do the Pirates have somebody in the Dominican working with him? Did you guys send somebody down there?
So he was down there with Raul and at the academy doing some stuff, and an external strength and conditioning guy, and he's been back in the States too. So I know that Matt in our group is in touch with him often.
Speaking of defense, we saw Horwitz bounce around a little bit at the end of the year. You guys have been connected to him at first base. Is second base or another position an option for him, or would you like to keep him at first? Or?
I think ideally you'd like to keep him at first base. He's such a good defensive first baseman, but totally open to other ways. You know, we played him at second last year at the end of the season. He's played second for Toronto. You know, just looking at any way to impact the team, ideally, you know, he'll be at first.
With Garcia and a guy who has a ton of power but a lot of swing and miss in his game, you're trying to develop power while also trying to minimize the swing and misses. How do you balance that in the player's development?
Yeah, it's easier said than done. It's up to, you know, as we go through with the player and talking about the adjustments, you know, we just talking about O'Neill Cruz, right? And the league adjusts back to you, finding ways to talk to them about their approach, what the other team is trying to do to you, and continue to challenge yourself and practice on ways to, if it's fastball, slider, swing and miss. The one thing that it seems with him is when it is in the zone and he attacks the right pitches, he squares them up and hits them really hard, and that's what we're really excited about. And as he continues to evolve and you know, grow in his development, you know, laying off those pitches that are outside the zone will be an area of emphasis for us to work with him on.
Well, Don, when you look at some of the top offenses last year, thinking specifically of like the Blue Jays and Brewers, teams that had a lot of success in the regular season and both had long runs in the postseason as well. And the style of offense they played that mixed power off the bat, a little speed, but particularly a lot of contact. You know, what takeaways do you take from that in terms of the direction that offenses are taking right now across the majors?
Yeah, it's interesting. I can speak more to playing the Brewers, and they did. They, the at-bats that they put up were really good, and that's something that we challenge our guys on too, is continuing to put up good at-bats, fight with 2 strikes, continue to put the ball in play. And, as you continue to see the development with your guys, like it's something with the Brewers have done a good job of. It's hard to mix sometimes. They have a unique ability, speaking to the Blue Jays, to have that kind of ability to make contact and drive the baseball, which is tough. Milwaukee didn't drive the baseball, I don't think, as much as, some other teams, but they had the ability to work the count, do that. Cleveland is another team that comes to mind in that regard. And for us to continue to work with our guys and, an offensive approach and an offensive identity of having tough at-bats.
Donnie, with your catchers right now, will you explore another option with Joey Martin? Like, is first base an option for him to get both bats in the lineup? Like, how do you view the delineation of duties with him and Henry?
Yeah, last year in practice, Joey's taken some ground balls at first. Really see Joey as a catcher. But as it goes, we were able to get him in last year at DH a little at the end, and I think that first base, if he continues to take some ground balls, something that we could explore down the line.
Paul showed obviously a real desire to go deep into games this last year, a lot of success going deep into games. How much of the decision, how long of a leash you give him, is in your hands? How do you sort of think about that? Year 3, now that he's proven he certainly can do it at a very high level, but you also want to be mindful of wear and tear.
No doubt. In regards to Paul specifically, I think it was 160 innings 2 years ago, 133 in the big leagues, and then last year 187, 190, I don't know the exact number. Always continue to try to push Paul and other guys forward while taking into account their health, where they're at, and certainly a decision that we collectively meet on and talk about before every single game, and how we're going to try to, it's a team of people that we pull together and really talk about that and dive into it, into how to maximize not just Paul but all of our guys. We had a bunch of guys last year, Ashcraft, Burrows, that were on innings limits, and just trying to make sure that we keep them as healthy as we can.
What does the next step look like for Paul Skeens?
It's been, first 2 steps have been really good. So all I know with Paul is he works his tail off every single day, and there's nobody. We get to see him start, and we've talked about this a lot. We get to see him start every 5 days. The 4 days in between is what separates him. The way he works, his commitment to his craft, the detail that he goes into every single day into making himself not just a good pitcher, but a great pitcher. He wants to be elite. And that next step, as far as he's going to let us know as he continues to push himself. And just his first 2 years have been unbelievable, and just really excited about seeing his development and him continuing to get better, because he does. That's what he does every single day. Shows up to win and shows up to get better himself.
How confident are you that guys like Bubba Chandler, guys like Braxton Ashcraft, you mentioned like Burrows, can take the next step too, and go even a step forward in 2026 after getting some experience in 2025?
Yeah, and I think that experience is what separates. When you see Bubba come up and have quick success in his first 2, and then hit a rough patch there, in his next 2 outings. That game against Milwaukee was a tough one, and then you saw the way he rebounded and responded. All of our guys, Burrows had a tough outing in Minnesota, I remember, right before the All-Star break, found a way to bounce back, and he showed different glimpses. Ashcraft filled so many different roles last year in the bullpen, in bulk, starting games, pitching the 9th inning against the Phillies. It's pouring down rain, and we walk Schwarber to get to Bohm, and he gets a double play to end it. Carmen Majinski started the year as a starter, goes down to AAA, comes back up in the bullpen and found ways to start relief. There were just so many things, and the thing that stands out to me is that when those guys got the ball, they took the ball and they dominated as best they could in that moment that they had, whether it was starting, relieving, closing, everything in between. It was really impressive to see the way that they all did that, competing, with each other. against the other team, competing against each other for starts and innings, and it was really cool to see. And like we were talking about, that's the foundation of our team. That's a competitive drive, and I think that when you look at Paul and Mitch, they lead in that, and the foundation of the pitching staff.
Do you anticipate seeing Connor in the mix for the shortstop position in spring training?
Connor's going to get, we're still talking about a lot of that. It's too early to say, exactly what's going to happen there. But, as far as a 19-year-old guy that just came out of high school, the year that he had to go through 3 levels and play the way that he played, sky's the limit for him. The talent that you see, the wiring, the way he goes about it, he's really, really impressive.
With Paul specifically, when he won the Cy Young, he kind of talked about how there's like 2 fields of people who want to go to Pittsburgh. Some people just want it as like a resume stop. Some really see how special it would be to win in the city. And he referenced you as someone who is the perfect person to manage in Pittsburgh. What do you make of those comments? And how do you find players that want to win here?
I got chills, you saying that, because winning in Pittsburgh, for those of us that have seen it, is special. When you think about the blackout game against the Reds, and I was watching that game on TV, having grown up in Pittsburgh, seeing the early 90s and the success that the team had, that's what excites me, that's what drives me, that's what we're striving for every single day. When we're here at the winter meetings and we're up in the suite talking about things, talking about the adjustments, talking about the offense, talking about how to continue to build the pitching foundation. That's what excites me, and that's what we expect. That's what the fans expect, and that's what we want to bring to Pittsburgh in 2026. It's certainly it's not about me. It's about the players. It's about the city. It's about the fans, and it's about bringing winning baseball back to Pittsburgh.
What does that mean to you to do that, to bring winning baseball back to Pittsburgh?
I get chills thinking about it. Honestly, like I said, it's Pittsburgh's a special place, and it's a tough town, it's a gritty town, and that's the attitude and the identity that we want to bring as a ball club to the city.
We've seen increased willingness across the league to bring position players up earlier. There are a lot of reasons for it. You benefit from increased athleticism and all the good range and all that stuff, but it's really, really hard to hit in the major leagues right now. How do you help a young guy who hasn't had a ton of experience in the minors figure it out on the fly in the major leagues?
Yeah, it's you're right. It is tough. It's tough to hit, and just continuing to work with them, continuing to expose not just him but others to opportunity, and continue to see, because referencing O'Neill earlier, he saw a way that they were going to pitch him differently, and finding ways to combat that, continue to adjust, and finding ways, specifically maybe with Connor, like finding ways to continue to hone in on his approach and what he does really well, and learn what the other teams are going to try to do to combat that.
I know skiing's is kind of an extreme example of this, but it's become not totally uncommon for a guy to be in college 1 year and be in the big leagues the next, or within 2 years. Do you see that trend evolving in the sport where it's becoming a quicker runway for those players?
Yeah, I think that the players let like they're going to let you know when you see a guy like Connor and Paul that dominate through the minor leagues. They let you know when they're ready to move, and Connor was this year. We got pushed really aggressively, and I think you take it case by case, but you are seeing younger guys get to the big leagues quicker, across the league, not just with us.
And there's been so much turnover in the managerial ranks in the last year, your club included, obviously. So, and you've seen very different ways teams fill that in terms of experience or backgrounds. What do you think makes a good manager in today's game, even versus your playing days? Like, how has the role changed, and what do you think makes a good manager?
Yeah, interesting. I think that I guess in order to answer that, looking back on my career, guys that I respected, that I played for, Leland is the first guy that comes to mind, and just the care that he had about people and his commitment to winning, and how he blended those two things together. That number one, you never questioned if he cared about you, and that care might not come across as like putting his arm around you. He might kick you in the butt sometimes to really show you that he cared and try to get the most out of you. And then his commitment to winning and how he went about it every single day to blend those two things together, is what really made him and I think other guys special.
Chelsea getting his opportunity in Minnesota. What was he like just to work with?
Yeah, he was great to work with. As far as I'm really happy for him that he was able to get that. Look forward to catching up with him live at some point. But really, we had a good relationship, and happy for him that he got that opportunity.
Is there any update with Jared Jones? Do you anticipate he's going to be on some sort of
Yeah, he's doing well and getting better. The rehab has gone great as far as timeline and all that. And, I think too early to really say exactly what that's going to look like, especially given the length of time even between now and spring training that we still have to go through. But everything's going well.